Second time, it becomes easier. You agree with that?
You know, I don't know yet. I don't know yet. This is my first rematch in MMA. And I doubt it's going to be easier because I beat him last time. You know what I mean? So he's going to be coming for blood, and he's going to be coming to take that thing away from me. So I'm prepared for a better and stronger Robbie Lawler.
I asked Robbie about making adjustments. I asked you about making adjustments. Do you think that's what is going to hold the key to this thing? Is which guy is able to adjust better and be able to implement that?
Yes, I think so, because, you know, we've both been in there with each other for 25 minutes. That's a very long time. And we're both going to nitpick and sit here and say, okay, this is what he did wrong. How do we capitalize on that? But you also got to say that he's going to come with some new stuff. So whenever you look at that, you expect for the old Robbie, but with some twists. And in those twists, you got to be prepared for them.
Are you you're looking to try to do things differently, like take him down more, maybe make more attempts? And were you injured in the last fight, and maybe that hampered you a bit? Yeah,
I blew my bicep completely after the first round. That first takedown I went for, I thought I had him. As soon as I pulled, my bicep just blew. My arm went numb, and at that point, I couldn't get close to pulling in a leg. Prior to the fight, I couldn't pick up an 8-pound water. I mean, a gallon of water. I couldn't drink it with my right hand. So I knew it was messed up. But I also can't take anything away from Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler did some great things in that fight. He capitalized on some great opportunities, and that's what I'm looking at. Not the injury as anything. I'm using that as a tool of what if it happens again? You know what I mean? What if it blows again, or what if you hurt something else? You've got to be able to find a way to win.
At the end of the fight, it was a very close fight, and you seemed to just gut it out. You just seemed to, maybe, I don't want to say you wanted it more, but it seemed that you had a strong will.
That strong will comes from wrestling. You know how many times I've wrestled injured? I've had to compete through a national tournament with the meniscus and sprained MCL. You know what I mean? You just learn to tape it up and try to forget about it and do whatever you can to win. And I give a lot of credit back to God for blessing me with a strong mind and a strong pain tolerance. Because that, you know, don't get me wrong, it hurt. But also wrestling to the fact that it helped me train my mind, train me how to push through those injuries, and find a way to get your Hendricks.
Was this training camp for you better than the first one?
Oh yeah, this was a lot better. For one, we didn't get injured. That's always nice. And two, we focused more on cardio, more on weight, getting the weight down, striking. This is the most I've hit mitts in the last probably 2 years. You know what I mean? So we did a lot of focus mitts, a lot of stuff like that, and a lot of one-on-one training, which I think has been nice.
What's the most concern you have regarding Robbie Lawler going in there? What would be the one thing you're not worried about?
The one thing that Robbie Lawler has that everybody sees is the will to fight. And the way I mean by that is that you can never count him out. You know what I mean? You could never count him out because he could be one punch away from a knockout, or he could be one punch away from getting you to the ground. He's that kind of a fighter. He's going to be a grinder. He's going to be somebody that comes out there and fights all 25 minutes, and that's what I've prepared for.
Finally, like George St. Pierre was kind of a signature fighter, glamour fighter in the organization. Do you feel like maybe you don't get enough of accolades for what you've accomplished because you came in after? All fighters do when they come in after a great.
No. Here's the thing. No, that's the thing is, George did amazing things for this, for my weight class and for the UFC. I can't compete against that. You know what I mean? All I can do is make my own. Does that make sense? So once George retired, and I haven't thought about it at all. You know what I mean? I don't think about George because I can't. I got to get through Robbie Lawler. Then after him, who else? Then you got Roy McDonald. Then you got Tyron Woodley. You have Hector Lombard. You got Matt Brown. You have maybe Nick Diaz might come back. You know what I mean? You got a stacked card. You know what I mean? You have a bunch of killers coming for that belt. And if George jumps back in there, yeah, I'll give him a shot. But I can't think about him. I got to think about Robbie and those other guys, because it's a fun class to be in right now.
Is this fight going to go the distance?
That's a great question. I don't see it going the distance, but if it does, the fans will be very happy.
And whose hand is going to be raised?
Of course, mine. I mean, I got to believe. Just like he's going to believe he's going to win. I have to go in there. If I don't believe I can't win, then why fight?
Well, we appreciate it. I want to wish you all the best. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. You have a great day.
Hey, Johnny, last time we talked to you, you talked a little bit about the grief you took about being overweight off while you've been recouping.
Yep.
So did Mike Dolce get you back in shape, and how hard was it during Thanksgiving?
Oh, well, Thanksgiving I flew to Vegas, so I took that scenario out of there.
So you didn't no big
Thanksgiving. Well, when that Twitter post went out, yeah, my life became very hard. You know what I mean? I had to get on a diet. You know, we started moving the right direction. But you know, man, I love food, but I also know that I love fighting. And I'm at a crossroad where now I got to decide what's more important in my life. Is it fighting or is it eating? And that's a pretty easy question. You know what I mean? Fighting. So I'm going to make the right steps. I'm going to work with Dolce outside of season, keep my weight around 200. And you know what's awesome about this is with the bicep injury, I got to lift weights for the first time again. You know what I mean? I got to actually put a month and a half of lifting weights in. So I went from 225 to 255 reps at 10. You know what I mean? That's huge. You know, that's a huge amount of muscle that I was able to put on in a month and a half. And if we can work with him and I can walk around at 200, and all of a sudden you're at 200, and maybe I can get it before my next fight, 275 reps at 10. You know what I mean? That'd be huge. That's huge strength, and it makes it easier. Dolce wants me to put a little bit more muscle in, burn a little bit more body fat, keep me around to 18, 17, maybe even 15%. And but the more muscle I put on, the more water I intake, the more I hold, and then it makes the weight cut that much easier.
So tell us, what did your Thanksgiving entail?
My Thanksgiving entailed on flying to Vegas.
Oh, so you flew here that day? I flew
here that day, and I got here and Mike Dolce said, hey, we got you a healthy Thanksgiving cooked if you want to. And I was like, man, thank you so much, but I'm going to sit in the room and eat the meals that he prepped for me. And that's sort of the way that I did it. You know what I mean? I was like, I know my love of food and my urge to not be able to say no. So I know that he would be there and say, Johnny, that's enough. But you know, I just wanted to make sure I took everything. I worked so hard up to this point, and we've been doing it for 10 weeks, 11 weeks now, strong. And it's been a great weight cut so far. And I want to make sure that one day doesn't ruin that.
Do you have any hesitations about the bicep injury?
No, you know what, man, the bicep is actually feeling really good. I listened to Dr. Mike Meister. He was a doctor. He's a doctor for the Rangers, Texas Rangers there, baseball club. And so I listened to him. You can't barely see the scar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he did a fantastic job. I test loaded for 3 weeks. That Monday, whenever I found out I was getting the fight, he said, Johnny, you're cleared. Before I sign off on you, I need you to go in there and give it everything you got. We did that, and it actually, God blessed me in a way, because I was actually getting my weight down, trained hard for 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden that Monday I was going to take off. We were actually going to go eat something unhealthy. And I got a call saying, would you like to take this fight, and could you fight December 6th? And I was like, oh man, guys, we're not going to be able to eat, we're going to go somewhere else. And I was like, I talked to the coaches, talked to my wife, and said, what do y'all think? You know, between my management group and my coaches and my wife, they're all excited, so no, I'm not looking back.
Very good. Now, one last thing. The new UFC uniform deal, I see you got Reebok on you. Tell us, what does that mean to you? Does that change anything for you as a fighter? Or?
Well, I had Reebok before this. You know, I've had Reebok since George St. Pierre. I've been super excited about Reebok. Reebok is huge. You know what I mean? Reebok, the way they've treated me, and the things that they've done for me, and you know, and more than they have. You know what I mean?
So they've had your back.
They've had my back. If I call them up, I'll call up Kevin and I'll be like, hey, man, do you have an extra pair of shoes? Mine are starting to fade. I'll have 4 in the box the next day. You know what I mean? Like, he'll be like, all right, they're overnighted. Oh, do you need shorts? Do you need this? Do you need this? We'll get stuff out to you. And that's huge to have something that, you know, that's such a big part of our training, the strength conditioning, having the equipment to do that makes life a lot easier.